So the entire Faron Woods area is flooded with water, as you can see. And this should be every Zelda fan's worst nightmare. I mean, I don't think I've ever met a single Zelda fan that just loves water areas, whether that just be the actual water areas or the water dungeons or temples. I mean, every Zelda fan seems to not like the idea of, just constantly swimming around as opposed to running or flying or riding on a horse or something. Either way, the area has completely changed. Basically, the area got flooded to get rid of all the various monsters in the area, and thus the area doesn't have any more bokoblins crawling around or spear moblins or any such creature. Anyway, we want to head inside of the great tree, so just dive down to the bottom of the water and just east of the tree. This is the same pathway we came into the tree from before, earlier on during our last visit to the Faron Woods. While you're underwater, there's these sort of bubbles of air that come up, and we've seen these in the Lake Floria region, so nothing unusual. Just you can pick up some air from the bubbles, although this water area is not really too lengthy. Once you get to the main portion of the tree, just go ahead and swim all the way up to the top of the tree, or at least to the point where the water has stopped, pretty much. Just climb up onto the land and just walk around, and this will trigger a cutscene with Faron, the water dragon. So I think when Zelda fans are looking back at Skyward Sword, and even in reviews or fan reactions, this particular area is considered the worst part of Skyward Sword. At least that's the consensus that I've found. Just it seems like you're so late in the game, and they sort of force you into a water area, requires extensive swimming and just massive collection. I don't know. I guess a lot of Zelda fans really did not like this area of the game, and well, I don't know. I personally didn't think it was that bad. Anyway, so we are looking for these little note thingies known as Tadtones. The first one is right over here, and this is, if you're just playing the game randomly, you won't find this one as the first one, but I'm going to do it anyway because since you're already on the top of the great tree. It's a little yellow one, it's underneath the lily pad, and you need to jump up from the higher region and land on the lily pad, flipping it over, and at that point the Tadtone will basically break free from the lily pad. Normally, later on in this area, you are able to douse for Tadtones, and it's at that point usually that you'll find that particular one, because that one's sort of hidden. It's not really open for you. One thing you just noticed, if you do like a little water spin dash attack, you can collect all of the Tadtones that are in the almost like the remote area. It works pretty well, and it's the most effective way to make sure you get them. It's a good addition, so because you don't have to be completely accurate with actually swimming into every single note. Some of the Tadtones, like the group of 4 I just got, they move in set patterns pretty much. So they're not just stationary. They'll move. They'll just constantly be like circulating around, or moving in a pattern. Other ones, like some of these individual ones, like that blue one I just got, that one, it'll actually swim away from you if you draw near, and it'll once again move in a little bit of a pattern. And in general, there's all these little obstacles with some of these. Like over here, there's these spike balls that sort of prevent you from performing water dash attacks. I mean, you can still perform water dash attacks, but you'll move too far or too quickly in a particular direction, and you very well might just cause yourself to take damage and not be very successful at it. Anyway, after you get a number of the Tadtones, some Craniac enemies just appear, and they'll basically start attacking you. They pretty much just stay near the surface, or near the top part of the water. So for the most part, we're going to be near the bottom of the water, near the ground level. So those Craniacs won't actually be even a factor. If they do, though, they're not that difficult to defeat at all. We've fought them before. Just basically perform a water dash attack to stun them, and then a second water dash attack to defeat them. Over here, there's one of those spike Frowak enemies. You want to just perform a water dash attack and basically explode the boulder behind it, and this will find a Tadtone, an individual one, behind. Over here, there's a group of 4 red Tadtones, and they're just circulating around the little tree here. Pretty easy to find, nothing too difficult. In general, I don't really think, at least the bulk of these Tadtones, they're not that hard to find. There's a couple of them that are difficult, like that yellow one, the first one I got, the one behind the Frowak, and a couple other ones later on. It's not really that they're difficult to find, it's just, it takes time. Some of them, like over here, are sort of hidden in the bushes, and you might not see them like the first time through, but once you get the dowsing ability, they'll be easy to find. You might have noticed I accidentally got one of those purple bubbles. Those purple bubbles basically are like poison air bubbles. Basically, if you get one of those, that will pretty much just cause you to lose air instead of like gaining air. So one thing you want to do whenever you have a chain of these, like in this particular case, there's 8 of these green ones. I got one of the middle ones first, and you never want to do that because that makes it very hard, if not impossible in some cases, to be able to collect all of them. So you always just want to, they're usually in a straight row. In some cases you have to get them in a direct straight row because they cover a lot of ground, and you pretty much have just as much time between ones before they disappear. If you don't get them in time, you'll have to pretty much start over. In the case of this very long purple set of Tadtones, you pretty much have to get all of them. And in general, I'd shy away from doing water dash attacks if you can, since that'll sort of make you a little uncoordinated in terms of going in the different directions, and you might accidentally pick up one of the poison bubbles, or you might just veer too far off to the right or to the left, and you'll have to perform another water dash attack, and perhaps you might run out of energy. So just straight swimming in the correct direction is the best way to go. So at that point, the Kikwa above Bucha, he sort of summons you, and it's at this point where, if you really wanted to, you can go up to that lily pad and speak to him, and basically all that really leads to is Fi will basically serve as she'll teach you the dowsing mechanic. The dowsing, unfortunately, you can't use dowsing while you're underwater, so pretty much you'll have to stay above the water, stand on a lily pad or on one of the ledges around the great tree, and you'll have to use your sword and just aim downwards from there. So you don't get the specific location of the Tadtones, but you get the general vicinity. It's at that point where you can you'd have to just swim in that direction, and you'll eventually find them. In some cases, the ones that they rotate and move, it's not as clear cut as to where they are, so it still will take some adventuring, some discovering. So the dowsing is okay. If you were able to douse underwater, then this would probably be a lot easier, and I think fans would probably not think it's as tedious. This particular Tadtone is a little tricky because it's sort of inside this little tree area, sort of a hard to find area, so that's probably going to be one of them that a lot of people miss. In general, the route that I'm doing, it might not be the absolute best route, but I think it's an efficient route. Basically, I got all the ones at the top first, and now I'm just sort of moving counterclockwise across the entire woods region. The final set of these Tadtones, the one that I'm leaving for last, is the one where the Kikwa usually hang out, the little guys. If you've returned to the Faron Woods, you would know they're in this more cut off area of the Faron Woods. These particular ones are a little bit further apart than the other ones, and in cases you might actually need to perform water dash attacks. Otherwise, you might just simply not have enough time, especially depending on at what part of the little semicircle or the circle that you start with. So either way, you can do water dash attacks and pick up all the Tadtones. That is the last set of them, so listen and enjoy. Alright, so now that we've found all the Tadtones and we've completed the song, at least found all the notes for the song, let's go ahead and return to the Water Dragon so we can actually learn the full song of the hero, or at least this portion of it. In general, I don't really understand why you really even needed to test yourself with the Water Dragon. I mean, look at all you've done already for her, and you've seen her so many times already. I mean, when we first met her, she was in pain, struggling. She was trying to cure herself, and we sort of got sent off on a quest on our own to go to the Skyview Temple to bring some sacred water to help her out. And then even later on, you meet up with her, and you basically ask her, "Can I use your water basin?" And she says, "Yeah, sure, go ahead, take it. See what I care." But somehow, now that we want to learn a song, it's like, no, you have to go and prove yourself by collecting musical notes in the form of Tadtones that I'm going to sprinkle around all across the water. Right. Anyway, just swim back up to the top and talk to Faron, and this will trigger a little cutscene, so enjoy. So that's going to do it for this video, and this actually opens up a gratitude crystal quest, and the next video will be showcasing that new side quest, so I'll see you guys then.